So on Tuesday, we finally got the Pixel 3 and Pixel 3 XL official release. But was it really the official release? I don't think so. I mean, we saw the 95% of the specs, design, everything before the release date, in fact months before the release date, but there are still some things that people really aren't paying attention to, and today I'm going to be talking about a few reasons why personally I'm still a big fan of the Pixel 3 and the 3 XL, what I think people aren't paying attention to, and what I think will be the major selling point of these Pixel 3 and the Pixel 3 XL phones. So, first, these two phones are priced quite fairly. I mean, they are not the cheapest phones out there compared to some of the phones like the Poco Phone F1, other Xiaomi phones like the Xiaomi Mi 8. These two phones are around 800 or 900 bucks, I don't know exactly, but they are not the cheapest. But at the same time, the amount of work that Google has put into these two phones, in my opinion, they are not too expensive, and in my opinion, they're fairly priced. First off, let's look at the optimization. In my opinion, as I am kind of a developer, I do a lot of web development, app development. In my opinion, optimization is by far the hardest part of making a good smartphone. First off, it requires a ton of work. Second, a ton of thought. And third, well, it's just a bit of a hassle. There's a lot of errors that can occur in an OS if there are bugs or anything like that. And here's the thing, with all these cheaper phones like the Xiaomi, Poco Phone F1, all these cheaper devices that we are seeing a lot of recently, these devices are all just a manifestation of really insane specs. What these companies do, they basically put some insane specs into the device, but they do not focus on the optimization part of it. While Google took a different approach. Sure, those two phones have incredible specs, the 3 and the 3 XL, but where they really shine is the optimization part. I will bet you right now that Google has put some insane work into the optimization of the OS of Android 9. In my opinion, we can compare the Pixel 3 and the 3 XL optimization to the optimization of Apple, the iPhone XS and the XS Max, because I really think they nailed the optimization this year. Again, I have not tried out the phones just yet, but that has always been the case ever since I got my first Nexus 5, all the way through the basically more recent devices. Let me explain this optimization point a bit further. Let's just take the cameras into consideration. Ever since the iPhone X introduced the dual cameras on the back, all these companies have basically followed the trend. They think that having dual cameras is a necessity now. In fact, you can see smartphones, for example, the Samsung Galaxy A9 was just released a couple of days ago, and that phone has 4 cameras. And the Pixel 3 and the 3 XL are not following the trend. These two phones still only have 1 camera, and Google really believes that everything can be achieved with a really good single camera, and I definitely agree with that. If you guys know, the dual cameras are mainly used just for the portrait effect, and with the Pixel 3 and the 3 XL, you will be able to achieve that all through just software. Google has optimized this phone and this phone's camera so much that you will be actually able to achieve the portrait effect all just through a single lens, and I find that really impressive. If you remember last year, the 2XL, so the Pixel 2 XL, had one of the most insane cameras out there. In fact, it still is one of the most insane cameras out there, and they achieved all that just through really insane camera optimization through the OS, and I bet you right now that is exactly what Google is planning to do or did with the Pixel 3 and the 3 XL. What I'm also really excited about, and what people aren't paying attention to, are all the latest and greatest Google features. To be honest, I don't know what they really are, or I don't know them from the top of my head, but I believe it's Google Duplex, the ability for your smart assistant to just call and schedule appointments for you. There's also a feature where you will now be able to receive phone calls and basically just send them to the auto answer smart assistant thingy. I'm not sure what it's called, but basically the phone or the smart assistant will be able to answer phone calls for you. I bet those two are not the only features, and I think Google is going to push out a lot of features just like this with the release of Android 9 Pie, and the Pixel 3 and the 3 XL will be the phones to have these features first, and basically these features will be the best optimized for these devices. This is why I'm really excited for the Pixel 3 and the 3 XL. This is why I'm really excited to basically test these phones out, and to be honest, I'm mainly really excited for the camera. So hopefully guys you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely consider dropping this video a like. Let me know in the comments down below what's one of your favorite features with the 3 and the 3 XL, and please don't mention the notch. And I'll see you all next time.